The opinions voiced in this podcast are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which strategies or investments may be suitable for you, consult the appropriate qualified professional prior to making a decision. Today's guest and their company are not affiliated with or endorsed by LPL Financial.
So are you mostly in the office, or are you more of kind of like the out-facing?
I am definitely the outward-facing person, and it just really depends on the day. There will be like days or weeks that I'm in my office all the time, and I just want to jump off the catwalk. And then there are days that I'm not in the office at all. It doesn't seem to be like spread out very well. It's just always like either all or nothing is what it seems like. So.
Yeah, as soon as you have something on the calendar, 9 things pop up.
Yeah, on the same day.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. It's not the same slot. Yes. Everything's like, oh, that's Thursday at 2. That's it.
Yeah, that's when we're going to have everything. Yeah, I was looking at something, one of the days, for Bunko, the day of Bunko, I think I have like 5 things on my calendar, and then the NOAA project asked if I could teach a class that day. Seriously? Too, and I was like,
yeah, why wouldn't I want to add that?
Yeah,
that seems like something I could throw in.
Yeah, definitely do that too. So, but I try to work around other people's schedules. The NOAA project, their schedule's probably not, like mine. They're just, these are when their people are there, or teachers, when I'm in their classrooms. And so, sometimes it just gets real busy.
How many organizations are you working with?
Like,
it could be boards, volunteering,
boards,
ways that your credit union connects to.
Yeah, so like I guess board-wise, I'm on Women of Outstanding Achievement, Kiwanis, and Day Nursery. And then the last 2 years, I don't know about this year, but I was helping Marcus with United Way with the Feast of Sharing. I kind of revamped the volunteer check-in, so I helped coordinate that the past 2 years, but now that Marcus isn't at United Way anymore.
Right. He's just cleaning up.
He was like, do you want to take, and I was like, no, Marcus, I was helping you. I'm good. Maybe I'll just volunteer for a Feast of Sharing. I'll be a volunteer instead of coordinating something. So pretty much just whoever reaches out. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of trouble saying no to things, or just like you're just really excited to help out?
It depends on what it is. The credit union has done a lot of stuff with March of Dimes as well over the last lot of years. And so I help with some of that, but I used to be a lot more active and on like all the committees, and now not. So I have tried to step back from some things. There was a period of time I was in junior league, and then I was like, all right, that's good, I'm done. So just figuring out what I enjoy doing, and what, there's always 150 million things to do in Abilene, and groups to help.
Yeah.
So
because you're also helping with Habitat.
Yes, we do Habitat. We do stuff with Habitat.
Is this making you feel
better?
Boo
at the
or
Zoo.
You're like, oh no, that's why
Boo
I'm
at the
tired.
Zoo is coming up, and we're the presenting sponsor of Boo at the Zoo.
Really?
So we're there. We're like the first booth when you walk into the zoo, and so it's the last 3 weekends of October. So Saturday and Sunday all day. So I'll be there. I am. I'm not going to be there every day this year like I have been the past several years.
Oh, wow.
Because I actually did plan some things, but usually October is like 7 days a week. And not because my boss is always like, you can take some days off during the week, like if you're going to be at the zoo all day on the weekends. But it has seemed like that's when everybody requests things too. So I'm like, I have these things to do every day, so I don't end up taking off. So this year, I'm only going to be there 3 of the 6 days. That's pretty good for me. I'll coordinate other employees to be there all the time, but yeah, it gets hard when you're the only person that is in this role.
What is your exact role at the
Community development
officer?
So,
what does that mean?
Well, we just kind of made it up.
Okay, that's good.
Basically,
yeah.
So I was in the teller department for like 8 years, and I loved being in the teller department. I loved my members, but then Kathy, whenever she would have, there was sometimes teachers would request to have somebody speak in their class, or I even remember meeting a class I guess they walked over from Abilene High to the North 6th branch, and I met them over there and just like talked to them a little bit about banking, because my degree is in education, so I actually got my teaching degree, and so Kathy would always have me do that, or like head up the March of Dimes stuff, help them with walk, or Bunko for breast cancer. Like I would coordinate all of those things. And so she finally talked our CEO into letting her just hire someone for that position, because it was getting to be more and more requests. And I was a teller supervisor, so it was hard to...
Yeah, it's harder to pull you away.
Yeah, it was hard to do both jobs well. So nobody has ever had this position at the credit union, so it was really just like figured out, kind of create it, which is exciting, and it was a little bit scary at first as well. So that's whenever I joined Junior League, and I joined Kiwanis, and just to see join other people and what they're doing instead of trying to reinvent the wheel myself. And so I've made a lot of connections doing those things, especially in Junior League. You have to volunteer a lot.
Yeah.
And so even though I'm not in that, that's where I started working with Darren Cox with the AISD Homeless Youth Ministry. And now every month on the 3rd Thursday of the month, the credit union, I send volunteers over there to help for 2 hours, doing whatever he needs to help with. And we've done school supply drives and shoe drives. And there was one time he called me and he was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I was like, I never know how to answer that question.
Right.
Should I say nothing, or I'm doing a lot of things? Anyway,
I'm doing too much.
Yeah,
that's what I'm doing a lot.
On?
Let me share my calendar.
Yeah, and he said, I have money, and I need bras and underwear, and it's real weird for me to go to the store and just buy all these bras and underwear. And so I said, okay. So
it's not something you want to be buying in bulk. It's a weird purchase.
It is, especially for a man to do.
It's not the same as ladders.
I mean, people looked at me super weird too whenever I was at the store, and that was all that was in my basket. But it's been cool to make relationships with people, and then just kind of figure out, okay, well, I don't have to be a part of this group to still, help AISD homeless youth or whatever. I did Mentors Care for a couple of years at Wiley, where I mentored a girl, I think for 2 years, until she graduated once a week.
That's a lot of graduating. Yeah.
So it was, and that was fun. But that was one thing. Once she graduated, I was like, okay, I need to take something off of my plate. So I haven't done that again in a couple of years, but it's just constantly trying to figure out the balance between, I can do that. Yeah, I can do that.
Right.
And I can, but at what expense,
Right.
So.
What do you think kind of gave you that heart for always doing things in the community or trying to educate? And I mean, obviously, with you having an education degree at least, and kind of background, just there is some kind of directive that says, hey, I want to work with kids. I want to help with development. What do you think it was for you?
I don't know. So really, so I was homeschooled 1st through 8th grade, and then I went 2nd through 8th grade, and then I went to Merkel High School and graduated from there. And I really, my whole life, my mom was a stay-at-home mom, and so I thought, that's clearly what I'm supposed to do. That's what I want to do. I just want to get married and have kids. And but then I decided to go to college mainly to get away from a boyfriend. And I was like, let's go to college. And so I loved kids. I always worked in like children's church and babysat. So I was like, I mean, this seems like a good fit. And so I went to school for that, got married after my freshman year, and had our daughter my sophomore year. And then I ended up getting pregnant with my son like the last semester of college. And so,
Wow.
so I was due with him in December. And so I was like, well, I'm not going to go try to get a teaching degree, you know, and have to stop for however long in the middle of my first school year.
Right.
So, and then I got pregnant with my second son. And so then it was like, I can't afford daycare to put all these kids in daycare. So I stayed at home with them, which was great. I'm glad that I got to. But I didn't realize then how hard it actually was on me. You know, I think some women and some men are like built to be stay-at-home parents. And I'm really grateful that I was able to. Justin worked ungodly amount of hours for me to be able to stay home with them. But being a stay-at-home mom for basically 10 years, I mean, I did some substitute teaching during that time where the kids would stay with my sister. But by time Aiden was getting ready to go to pre-K and I started looking for a job, I knew I needed some adult interaction because I was very deficient on that. So I applied at the credit union and got a job there, and I loved it. And knew that I probably would not be a good teacher, like in the classroom every day with the same kids.
Even after doing all the work with your own kids, you didn't think?
Oh no, because I needed to be away from them. And I thought, and I just, you know, I think even when I was in high school and decided to go to college for teaching education, and it was very different back then than it became and what it is now. Like I knew I probably wouldn't last long because I would want to discipline my students like I did my kids, and that would not go over well. So yeah, but I really enjoy now, like I get to do different ages and different classes and different presentations. So I enjoy that, and I really enjoyed substitute teaching because it was the same thing. Like I got to do different grades and different, you know, economic, home ec, history, math, you know, whatever, and just kind of jumped around, and it wasn't the same thing every single day, all day long. Yeah. So I think that's why I like it so much. But
when you're going into classrooms, what are you primarily kind of teaching kids or working with kids on?
Most of the time, it's like the basics of saving and budgeting, just kind of getting them to wrap their minds around that. But it really depends on the age. Okay. So the younger elementary kids, it's more of the importance of having a bank account. What is the difference between a bank and a credit union? What are some benefits to having a savings account somewhere opposed to having it in your piggy bank? You know, just kind of starting to get them to think about those things. A lot of kids will say that they do have a bank account somewhere, but they're not sure where. They don't know the name. And I'm like, you need to ask your parents that. Like you can start looking at your statements, you know, just trying to start that conversation. And then the older they get, I've already taught a couple of times this year about paying for college and different options there and things to be mindful of, because you know sometimes kids in 7th and 8th grade, they're like, really? But I'm like, if you don't start, you can't wait to think about this stuff till you're a junior or senior in high school. Like it's a little bit too late at that point.
Everything also feels like too much at that point.
Yeah, it's very overwhelming because you're getting everything else thrown at you.
Right.
So yeah, it just depends. And then with adults, it's mainly budgeting classes, credit repair, paying off debt, things like that, scams.
Yeah.
So Yeah, a bunch of different things. But it's fun because usually I'll just ask the person, because I taught a budgeting class for Noah Project, I don't know, a month ago or something, and I'm teaching another class next week on credit repair. And then she asked to put me on the calendar for October. And I was like, sure, what do you want me to teach? And she was like, well, can you talk about holiday scams and just budgeting for the holidays and, kind of starting that. So it's fun to have somebody tell me, yeah, let's talk about this, and then I get to create the presentation. So yeah, it really just varies.
Do other credit unions or banks in town do similarly, or is that kind of something that might be a little bit more distinctive for you guys?
I think that we're the only credit union probably that does it, just because that we're bigger and have more employees. There's a dedicated person for it, and I'm not sure if the other credit unions have a dedicated person for that. I'm sure the bank does some financial classes. I don't know to what extent. Sometimes I think it's more high profile things and not as glamorous, of things. Yeah. But I think too, at first, whenever I got in this position, because I started in this position in January of 2019, and
great year to start things.
Oh my gosh, it was great. Like, I started getting so busy that fall and was having class after class, and even into the beginning of 2020, like, I was going into classrooms at least once a week, if not multiple times. And then the world shut down, and I had to stay in my office for like a year or two.
Yeah.
And I was miserable because I like to be around people. I like interacting with people. And so I think that's why I loved being a teller so much, is because you just had that constant interaction with members. And I mean, I made so many really close relationships with members that became like family, helping the same people for 8 years. That's just what it is. And so then whenever I was in an office by myself for 2 years, I was like,
right. I'm hired for outreach.
Yeah, my boss and I redesigned our website during that time. And, I mean, I guess 325 Day was birthed in 2021. So if we wouldn't have had that, the COVID and Snowvid, we probably wouldn't have, thought of that. Yeah. But it was very rough because I do not do well for long extended periods of time, just isolated.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I enjoy getting out and being around people. I mean, and then there are days that I'm like, it's nice to be in my office and catch up on things, or just take a moment to breathe. But then if there's very many days like that in a row, I'm like, well, I got to do something. Why doesn't anybody want me to come hang out with them? So, yeah, it's but my boss does tell, whenever we do talk to the new hires, there's like the last day of their training, all the departments go in one at a time and just kind of give an overview of what they do and blah, blah, blah. And so Kathy is always really good about telling them, Elizabeth is supposed to be out of the office just as much as she's in the office. So if she's not here, that is by design, because sometimes people are like, she's never here. I'm like, I've been working for 24 hours straight. I'm like, I'm sorry that I wasn't in my office. So
no, please,
I think people definitely, some people think that it's just, I mean, it is a fun job. It is a lot of fun, but it's a lot of work as well. I'm in charge of our social media, and that's 24/7 on weekends and holidays. Really? And, if somebody sends a message or has a question, I'm not going to wait until Monday to respond to that or figure out the answer. So it's definitely a big job, but it's fun.
I did have a couple of questions
Yeah.
on just kind of bank, how you kind
Yeah.
of see it versus ways that it fits in Abilene. So essentially, like what sets your credit union apart from maybe others? And then, about more of the traditional banking route. Why would someone go with a credit union versus go with others? I get that question a lot
Yeah.
with clients who are new to the area,
Yeah.
looking to change their banks, looking to change their things. Obviously, I promote you guys because I've been a member for quite some time now. But just, why would you say, hey, someone would be a better fit for me than maybe other places?
I definitely think with credit unions, we are a cooperative, we're member owned. So the decisions that are made for the credit union are always looked at based on how is this going to benefit our members. Um, the decisions are not made for how is this going to benefit our stakeholders.
Yeah.
And so that's important. We don't charge fees like banks do. I know, especially at our credit union, I don't know a whole lot about other credit unions because I've been a member of Abilene Teachers since I was like 6 years old. So
a little bit.
Yeah, just for a couple of years.
Yeah, a couple of years,
And so I haven't ever had an account at another credit union, but we have one checking account, we have savings accounts, and it's good for everyone. You don't have to know, well, am I going to use my debit card 20 times or less than 20 times? Am I going to get a fee if I don't use it enough or I use it too much? You can transfer, between your savings and checking account as many times as you want a month, whereas some places charge fees for that too, or you can only transfer 5 times. And good Lord, I just transfer like 20 times in a day sometimes. Like when I get paid, I'm very meticulous with how I handle my money.
I'd be hoping
and
if
finances.
You're doing you have to listen to yourself a bit whenever you're coaching on budgeting.
Well,
you're like, okay,
I didn't for a little while, and I couldn't figure it out. But when 2020 came along, I think that's probably why I like what I do so much. And whenever I first started, I really enjoyed going into the schools, and I still do. But now I think my favorite is whenever I get to talk to adults.
Yeah.
One of my favorite groups to talk to is the ladies with New Beginnings.
Really?
And it's, they help them, if they're out of prison or jail, and just helping them get back on their feet and have a job and a place to live. And so they'll do classes for them. And that's probably my favorite group to talk to because they want to know and they're invested and they want to learn how to manage their money, or their credit is crap now and they want to know how to fix that, and what do I need to do to fix this so that I can eventually get a car loan or whatever. So there's a lot of really good dialogue and conversation that happens in those classes. I'm not just like lecturing a group of people, whereas sometimes in the school, like the kids don't know, they think they do, or they don't think they need to know at this point. And so sometimes there's not as much back and forth, and I'm just like, these kids, they're just staring at me blankly. Whereas with the adults, usually they're like, if they're there, it's because they want to be there or they need to be there and they need to know these things. So I really enjoy that. Even a couple weeks ago, I taught the budgeting class for Habitat and that group. And so I always enjoy that. But I think the biggest part about it is when Justin and I, for the first half or more probably of our marriage, like we really struggled financially. I mean, he was the only one working. We had 3 kids. I did not do a great job at budgeting. We paid our bills, but there was a lot of times we couldn't pay, when we'd have to put something on the credit card, we couldn't pay it off, and that was super stressful for me, being in charge of the finances. And so now that I've finally gotten a handle on things, figured out what I was doing, I know that weight that it puts on people's shoulders and just your stress level, especially when you're the one. I never wanted to tell Justin, oh, look, there's $6,000 on our credit card that I can't pay off, because he was working so hard and I felt like I was doing something
it's
wrong.
just adding more on.
Yeah. And so I would just hold it all in and figure it out myself, but it sucked and it was hard. And so I hate for other people to be in that same place and so heavy that I'm like, if you can figure this out, even though it takes a while, just the weight that it takes off of your shoulders and stress.
Yeah. I think weight is always the right one. It kind of feels like something sitting on your chest sometimes. And so when it comes to, like, when I'm working with people, I always kind of say, because, I mean, they'll walk in kind of every stage. I have clients who were extremely successful. I have clients who are just starting out, clients who maybe have been behind on a couple of things. And just having that empathy, which is like, hey, I get it.
Yeah.
We've all been there. And this is the road that we're working towards. But that feeling that they have of just like, you have to make a certain amount of bad decisions, unfortunately, before you understand the importance. And before, like, you're just like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I really do need to change things. And so I've had clients who kind of come in and, you know, they're not going to be investment clients for quite some time, but they're just like, hey, I am dealing with this. I need to talk to somebody about these things. And some of those meetings are incredible.
Yeah.
Just for that exact same thing of just like, oh yeah, it's another human. And you're like, hey, I need help with this. I need to do better with this. And so the fact that you're kind of going into those positions where you have adults who are willing and are listening to you and who are just like, hey, I know that I need this. It's a really powerful thing. So cool.
It is really cool. That's definitely my favorite part. You know, some of the conferences that I've gone to about financial education and stuff, I mean, they're all wrapped around of your financial wellness. It affects your mind, your body, like your finances affect everything. Like, I don't know how many times, like, I was just sick to my stomach all the time. If Justin would say anything, oh, how are we doing financially? I'd be like, you know, fine, that's fine, you know, and we weren't. And so
it's a cool change that you see come over people when they're just stressed and you hit that nerve and they're just like, whoa, that was a little bit of an intense. You came in a little hot on that. We doing all right? Yeah, it happens.
But, you know, in my classes, I definitely am very open and give a lot of just personal examples of like, look, I really screwed up here. This is how I fixed it. It took, you know, this long to do or whatever, because I feel like I don't need someone that doesn't have kids giving me parenting advice. Like, I don't, you know, or marital advice and they've been single their entire life or divorced 32 times. Like, I don't need that. But if somebody's been in the trenches and like worked their way up, then I'm like, okay, maybe you know a little bit about what you're talking about. So there's a lot of, I just throw it all. Probably the people in my class know more about my finances than Justin does, really, because
it's also I hope the conversations afterwards, like, that lady, wow,
she is.
I feel better about us.
Yeah, we've been doing great, actually. She really sucked it up for a while. So that is definitely, I enjoy that part of my job. Last week I taught a class for the Housing Authority. And I never know how many people are going to show up there. It could be one or none or two. But I think there was like 5 or 6. And it was nice because there was some back and forth and asking questions. And so those are definitely my favorite classes. Whenever I left there, I felt like energized and this was good. And, you know, where sometimes I'll leave and I'm just exhausted. It was a fine class, but I'm tired. But whenever there's some conversation back and forth, that I guess that makes me feel like, okay, I'm doing something. This is good. Like, I'm helping somebody out here, and I didn't just lecture for an hour and a half or whatever. So it was a good class.
Where do you think that people should be getting more of that education? Where do you see where they are getting that education?
They're not, and I don't understand why it is not a core class in schools. Like, literally, I feel like teachers can teach like one day on financial education and they've hit their teaks. They've taught about it. So we're good. I know whenever my kids were in high school, you know, they have to have Algebra 1 and Geometry and Algebra 2, and then there's Pre-Cal or whatever they're going to take. But there was a class called Math Models, I think. But all the kids were like, well, that's the class for the dumb kids that, you know, can't take algebra or pre-cal or something.
Yeah.
That's the class that teaches you all about your finances and budget. I'm like, this is the class that every single kid needs to take.
Right.
You don't need pre-cal. You probably don't need algebra. You know, like, unless you're going to go into some kind of field that you need that, every single person needs to know how to do a budget and write a check.
Are you saying that you haven't been using your skills with a parabola?
No.
As much as you thought you were going to?
No, I haven't, and it's really weird because I thought I was going to be using it every day.
Yeah, sure.
My compass, I don't use it. My protractor.
Yeah. How is your TI-83 going? Your skills with that?
I do have one at my house because my son used it. But yeah, I mean, he's going into accounting and finance, so he's taking all kinds of math classes. But I'm still like, but if you don't know how to manage your money, when you get your job, like, we've done a disservice.
Yeah.
There's a lot of classes that I feel like probably kids could do without to have, like,
Let's get a week. We don't even have to cancel. You don't have to become a school counselor. Just say, hey, you know what? We're going to have a week where we focus on a couple life skills, even for the high achievers. But yeah, I would agree on, like, the math models. Like, those kind of classes when I was in school is very much like, I wouldn't say necessarily looked down on, but it wasn't something that, like, someone was excited about sharing with their schedule. Like, I got in. I'm going to learn about a checkbook. It's going to be pretty cool. However, like, the amount of clients who I'm having first interactions and we're going over things, we're consulting on things, and they're just like, where was I supposed to learn all of this? I'm like, well, unfortunately here. But really, ideally, it would be cool if it was earlier as well.
Yeah. Well, I even think I've come to decide that, yes, I think that this should be taught in school. My kid's there all day, every day. Like, it should be taught there for more than a day or even more than 2 days. But I think that I feel like as a parent, I did a disservice to my kids by not being more transparent with them where we were financially. Not that we couldn't pay the light bills this month. Maybe not to that extent. Like, I'm not sure if we're going to have a house tomorrow to live in. Maybe that's a little...
No, please just terrify them.
Yeah, like, maybe that's a little bit too much.
I hope that we still can get in our house when you get out of school. That would be ideal.
But I don't know.
I don't know. There might be a paper on the door.
Yeah, if there's a sign, just don't go in.
Right.
But just even this is going to be our budget for groceries, and having them be a part of that and see how much groceries cost. Whenever, we have an electric bill that I budgeted for $180 and now it's $350, like, having those conversations, because even my kids with, like, this is what I do for a living, and they literally have no idea what it looks like in the real world to pay your own bills and how much those things cost, what it looks like. My son, so I just have one son that lives at home now, but every weekend Justin will send a text and he's like, hey, you put what you need from the grocery store on the list for us to go to the grocery store and get it. And I'm like, I feel like maybe he needs to start going and buying his own groceries just so that he knows, like, what, he's like a bodybuilder, super fit, so he's not getting the cheap things. It's all high protein, no sugar, everything.
He's not just gonna just fill up the trunk with ramen.
No, there's no ramen in our house. So, I mean, he doesn't get a ton of
Yeah.
things, but it's just there isn't any concept of
Gotcha.
what this looks like.
Yeah.
And so I feel like we're setting him up for, he's going to move out and then it's going to be like, oh, crap.
Right.
Like, I have to pay the water and the electric and
Sure.
the,
Yeah.
figuring all
What
those
age?
things out.
What ages are they?
So my oldest son is 20. He's the one still at home. And then my youngest son is at Angelo State right now. He's 18. And then I have a daughter that is 24.
Okay.
So,
I got lucky in that when I was growing up, there was a decent amount of transparency.
Yeah.
Of just like what things. I will say, of course, it was the 90s version, which was like, this is what a checkbook is. And I was like, that's super cool.
Yeah,
I hope to never use that thing. And I mean, I'll talk to people and they'll be like, oh, they don't even know how to balance a checkbook. It's like, because nobody does that anymore.
right, no. My mom does.
I mean, sure.
My mom still does, for sure.
Right.
But we
yeah.
have kids that will ask, well, if I write a check, which account does it come out of? My
Solid
checking
question.
or savings? And I'm like,
Solid question.
okay.
Okay.
Or if I use my debit card, where does that come
Yeah.
come out of?
Yeah.
And so it's just not like I don't remember having those conversations with my
Yeah.
parents. I just knew. I guess there had to have been some conversation at
Right.
some point, but I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
You don't know that? Like I don't. So yeah, I have not. I
Yeah.
have not taught my own children as
Yeah.
well, probably, as I could have.
My other luck was that in college, my aunt would sit down with me on like every break and we'd go over budgeting. So it was,
nice.
I mean, yeah, you say nice now.
Okay.
It wasn't
It
like,
was the best time
it
of your
wasn't
life.
like super cool. Okay. I wasn't
What?
just
You
like,
didn't have friends that were like, let me come over
Yeah,
and do
no.
that too.
Oddly-
Wait for me.
oddly, no. Didn't win me any friends, actually.
That's weird.
But it was very much of like, hey, this is how you plan out a month. And I will say the worst thing ever was when I was teaching, like my first job, of course, out of like college, really like career job was teaching.
Okay.
And it was back when AISD was still paying you on 1 month at a time.
Oh,
So I
yeah.
had gone from like, oh, well, this transitions, you just get paid once. And it was like, oh, so I should be like huffing, trying to breathe air, like
Yeah.
with 3 days left until the pay period.
Yeah.
And that taught some things.
Yeah.
I got to mess up a lot still.
Yeah.
But, and then kind of mid-20s, we got a financial advisor. Like, it was like,
Really?
yeah, just flat out. I mean, it
Oh,
was
wow.
the best thing we did when we were in our 20s of just like, hey, we need to be doing something. Like, this needs to help. Like, I guess we're going to want to buy a house one day.
Yeah.
Like we need to do something. And so, I mean, we kind of walked into an office and got a good base. But I mean,
Yeah.
other than that, it wasn't like there was classes that I was I accidentally learned about finance, basically. And it was like, it happened to me. And I was like, oh,
threw
gosh.
you in the swimming pool.
That was mostly
yeah.
it. Yeah,
Learn
that
to
was-
swim.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't accrue all of the debt.
Yeah.
Those kinds of things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah. That's crazy.
yeah. So when it comes to how much longer do you want to do this kind of role, or do you want to be kind of doing all these outreach things?
That's such a hard question. So my boss, it's just her and I in our department.
What's her name?
Kathy.
Hi, Kathy.
Hey, Kathy. She's the marketing director, and then there's me, and I love what I do.
Okay.
And
It still takes a lot out of you too.
it does.
Yeah.
It takes a lot out of me, and it's nice because Kathy, it was funny because whenever I started in this role, we would sponsor things, but Kathy would always just be like, "Oh no, y'all can just have our table back," because she was tired of going to all of the things
Sure.
and having to figure all that out. And so I remember that first year, whenever I was in the position, I was like, "No, we're not giving them the table back. I'm going to these things." And so I still love doing it. I mean, it's a lot. Even then, sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to find another outfit to wear. But I'm trying to figure. We have discussed whenever she retires what that will look like, because she really enjoys what she does, and she's like, I know you enjoy what you're doing. So figuring out how to maybe change the description a little bit of, you know, where maybe I can step into her role, but I'm still doing what I'm doing, and then the person that we hire does the part that she's doing, you know. So I don't know. I like being around people. I like that aspect of it. And I don't know if there's a position for like people person at the credit union. I keep trying to come up with a new title or a new department.
Right.
But I'm like, I like I think I would like the HR part of it, but only like the people part. Like I don't want to do the payroll. I don't want to do the insurance. I don't want to do again, that's more of the back end stuff.
Like, how can I do the fun things?
I'm like, I want to teach people how to work with each other. Like, how do we problem solve? How do we use our, you know, strengths instead of, you know, fighting about things like this is your strength and this is your strength. So, you know, just figuring, I like those kind of things. So I don't know. I hope to be doing what I'm doing for a while. For sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't typically think of like banks and things like that in the way of like, oh, I bet they have a really soft, cuddly people department that all that they do is
crazy.
You know, kind of wrap their arms around people.
It's crazy. So whenever Kathy first started working at the credit union, she's worked there for like 22 years now, I think. She actually came from the community foundation.
Oh, really?
She worked there. And she started doing marketing and HR. It was together because the credit union was a lot smaller back then. There's probably like 30-something employees. And then now we have nearly 150 employees. And we have one HR person and then finally 2 of us in marketing. But all these other departments have grown and created more departments that have more people in them than our departments have. And I'm still like,
we need a little bit more.
Maybe we could use a little bit more help over here.
They're probably going to say, you need to be doing a little bit less because we're having to hire a lot of people.
We're actually going to take some of your budget to be able to pay these other people. So, so I don't know. It's crazy to see how much the credit union has grown, though. Just in the last 20 years, 15 years, it's grown a lot.
How does it kind of compare in kind of its own kind of categories or whatever, just as far as like growth, as far as, you know, outreach?
We are the second largest financial institution in Abilene, like in our community, obviously First Financial being the biggest. But for a credit union, it's pretty big in, you know, in our service area, we can serve 16 counties, and we have a community charter for Taylor and Callahan counties. So anybody that works, lives, goes to church, or goes to school in those counties is eligible for membership. Whereas the other 14 counties, you have to be a teacher or related to a teacher to be a member. So that's how it used to be here in Abilene and Taylor and Callahan counties as well. It was a SEG charter, so you had to be in the teaching. So whenever I got my membership at the credit union, I was able to because my Meemaw and Pawpaw were members because my Meemaw was a piano teacher. And so I was eligible for membership because my Meemaw was a teacher. But now, those are the reasons only for the other 14 counties. So, but most of them are pretty rural. So, you know, our base membership is Taylor and Callahan County. But it's a service area of about 180,000 people, give or take. And we have like over 56,000 members now. And that's like, we only count the primary member. So there are a lot of people that, you know, at first Justin was just on my account, so he didn't even, like, we weren't counting him until he opened his own primary account, and then he was a member. So we have more than 56,000 members just if you included the joint member as well. So that's a lot.
That's a lot of market share.
Yeah.
That's way more than I thought.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So Doing pretty good.
Doing
We're
pretty
doing
good.
pretty good.
Yeah, it's probably going to stay open a little bit.
Yeah. Hopefully a few more years.
Yeah, the doors will most likely open in the morning.
Yeah. Yes. Hopefully I'll still have a job.
Yeah,
So
that's ideal.
if not, I'll come work for you.
Not hiring.
Oh, crap.
Yeah.
I'll
that's
just
not
sit right up here
Oh,
and
yeah,
I'll be
sure.
real quiet. Clearly.
I did kind of want to, before we kind of wrap up
Okay.
things, I did want to hear a little bit more about 325 Day.
Okay.
Obviously, I work with a lot of small businesses, and just, I mean, since that's such an initiative that helps with that, can you speak to what it is, kind of
Yeah.
where it came from,
Okay.
and just, how it's going?
So back in, I want to say we started it sometime in 2020. We were buying gift cards, and we would do social media giveaways of like, where's your favorite place to eat, or just different things. Just trying to support businesses and do giveaways, just trying to boost some morale, basically. And then in 2021, I don't know if you remember whenever the world shut down, because it also froze.
Right.
And so coming out of that, it was like the first part of March, I guess Kathy and I were talking and trying to figure out what could we do to like just boost community morale, our employees, it was just, it was a really fun time. And Kathy said that because she's from El Paso, and so she said, you know what, El Paso does a thing called 915 Day, because that's their area code, which used to be ours.
Right. Yeah, because it went over this entire side of West Texas.
Yeah,
basically, right?
that was our area code when I was little.
Yeah.
So she said, they do a big celebration for 915 Day, and then there's this kind of a 2-day event, because 9/16 is like Mexican Independence Day, I think, and so they do it all together.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they have big things like conferences and speakers and all kinds of stuff.
Wow.
And so she was like, maybe we could do something for 325 Day. This was like probably the second week of March when we're discussing
Sure.
this. And I was like, oh yeah, that'll be
We
cool.
got tons of time.
Yeah, and she was like, okay, do something for 325 Day. I was like, all right. So
Okay.
that year we ended up doing a social media campaign of asking people why they liked living in the 325. And I went and bought a bunch of gift cards to local restaurants and boutiques and stores, and putting together, I think I did like 3 baskets or something with all these things in it, and then drew names from the submissions. And so later that year, I was actually having lunch with the Chamber of Commerce, talking about the reality fairs that I do at like Wiley. So right now I've been doing them at Wiley, Clyde, and Merkel for the seniors. You should come and volunteer for one of those so you can see it. It's really cool. But I was talking to them about that, and then somehow I mentioned something about 325 Day, and they were like, we should do that, bigger. That should be a big thing that we could do. And so the following year, we created a website and commercials. Like, it has its own social media account, but it's really just to boost businesses and get their name out there. There's been several businesses that have participated over the past few years that I had never even heard of. I didn't know about them until I got their submission. I was like, what is this? So I went to their website or went to their store or whatever to see. And so it's free for businesses to sign up and just say how they want to participate in 325 Day. So a lot will do, like, restaurants might have a special drink or menu item for $3.25 that day. Stores have done things like buy 3, get 25% off, or get 32.5% off of your purchase, or, they will just try to kind of go off of the 325 theme and do something. So yeah, it's just been a lot of fun. So that day, I run around town to go to as many of the places as I can, just to say thanks for participating. You know, I really feel like the credit union should give me petty cash, because I spend a lot of money on that day. Because clearly,
samples are good.
Yeah, clearly
Yeah.
I have to participate if I'm
Sure.
going into these places. So anyway, it's a fun day, but it was really just started to get people to support local businesses. And even with that, you know, at first it was really solely geared towards small business owners and local. But even at that, now I'm like, you know, if a chain restaurant wants to participate, I'm not going to say no. I mean, the owner of that restaurant lives here, you know, whether
Right.
it's a chain or not. I want to support them, like they all of their employees live here. So, but the first year we did it, the first and second year that we did it community-wide was great, because it fell on a Friday and then a Saturday.
Okay.
So we ended up having live music downtown at that little, you know, little park thing over there.
Minter Park.
Yes. And so that was super fun. But now that it's been during the week, I'm like, I don't know how many people are coming out for live music, you know,
Gotcha.
during the week. So it's looked a little bit different. But there's been businesses that are normally closed on Mondays that opened up to do
awesome.
it, even if it was just in the afternoon or whatever, had, you know, shorter hours or something. But this year, actually, with it being 2025, we did both 325 day and 325 month, since it was March of 2025. So some businesses participated the whole month and did
Really?
things, and then some still just did the day of. So
Awesome.
yeah, it's a lot of fun. So
Yeah, super
just
cool.
a way to get people to come in and see your business and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So
Well, very nice.
yeah, so you need to get all your business owners to participate.
There we go. We'll get it going if they're not already doing stuff. Yeah.
Even places like, so for the Kiwanis Club, we've participated by we give away Pancake Day tickets, because it's
Oh, really?
Pancake Day was the Saturday after, and I think it's the Saturday after this year
Nice.
as well. And Women of Outstanding Achievement, the 2 years ago, or last year, we gave some tickets for our luncheon. And then this year, all of the board members, we went and bought items from women-owned businesses.
Oh, wow.
And put together some little gift baskets and did online giveaways. So even if you're not a business owner or have a storefront, there's a lot of online boutiques that have participated. You can still even just do a $25 gift cards to give away. Or I know Ricardo, I think, has done that.
Really?
To participate. You know, he sells insurance, so there's not I don't know what to sell you on 325 day, but people figure out how to participate just in a different way. So
That's awesome.
It's been cool.
Okay, so kind of wrapping up. Anything going on for you soon? I know you said Boo at the Zoo's
Boo
coming up.
at the Zoo is coming up. It starts on the 11th. So we'll be out there every weekend.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, what else? Day Nursery is having our fundraiser on November 8th. It's going to be really fun. We're having a casino night,
Really?
like a fancy casino night. Really, you should sponsor it, actually.
Oh,
I should have brought that sponsorship packet.
So you've tried to make me an employer. I've tried to become a sponsor for several things.
It's going to be fun. It's the first one, like a fundraiser here in Abilene like that. So coming up with a new creative fundraiser for Abilene is a very hard thing to do.
There's a couple nonprofits
there's
doing
just
fundraisers
a few.
every once in a while.
So I think this one, it's going to be a lot of fun. So
That's awesome.
we're going to put sponsorships are out right now if people want to sponsor, but then we're going to put tickets out like the second week of October or something.
Okay.
But it's going to be so much fun. So I hope people will come to that. I don't know. I have a lot of classes, but if somebody wants a class, just email me.
Yeah.
We can do it.
Cool.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate the interview.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah. All righty.